Welcome back to Unlock, Empower, Transform. I'm Che Blackmon, and today we're talking about the most overlooked asset in your organization's AI transformation. And plot twist, it's not the 25-year-old coding genius. It's the 50-year-old leader who remembers dial-up internet and can navigate ChatGPT like a pro. While everyone's obsessing over millennial engagement and Gen Z recruitment, there's an entire generation of leaders perfectly positioned to bridge the human AI divide, and they're hiding in plain sight. Let's talk about Generation X, born between 1965 and 1980. We're the forgotten middle children of the workforce, too young to be boomers, too old to be digital natives. The media barely mentions us except to note we're cynical and drink too much coffee. Thanks for that. But here's what they're missing. Gen X is the only generation that's truly bilingual in both analog and digital worlds. We wrote term papers on typewriters and computers. We researched in actual libraries and learned to Google. We built careers through face-to-face networking and mastered LinkedIn. This isn't nostalgia talking. This is strategic advantage. As organizations scramble to implement AI while maintaining human connection, who better to lead than the generation that's literally lived through every phase of the digital revolution? We didn't just adapt to technology, we watched it being born. We debugged Windows 95. We survived Y2K. We went from carrying pagers to smartphones. We've seen every revolutionary technology that was supposed to replace human workers, and guess what? We're still here, and we learned how to make each wave of technology work for us, not against us. In my years transforming organizations, I've noticed something fascinating. The most successful digital transformations aren't led by the youngest or the most tech-savvy. They're led by people who understand both what technology can do and what humans need. That's Gen X's superpower. Think about what Gen X actually experienced. We're the last generation to have a fully analog childhood and a fully digital adulthood. We remember when social networking meant actually talking to people at events. We learned to code when it was still weird to own a computer. We navigated the first wave of automation that was supposed to eliminate our jobs. This unique position makes us natural translators. We speak fluent boomer, understanding the value of relationship building, institutional knowledge, and proven processes. We also speak fluent Millennial and Gen Z, getting the need for flexibility, technological innovation, and work-life integration. When it comes to AI transformation, this translation ability is gold. You need leaders who can help veteran employees understand that AI isn't replacing them, while also pushing for genuine innovation. You need people who can see both the promise and the pitfalls, because we've lived through enough game-changing technologies to know the difference between hype and reality. We're the generation that learned you can't just throw technology at a problem. Remember when everyone thought email would eliminate meetings? How'd that work out? We understand that AI is a tool, not a solution, and that distinction is everything. In high-value leadership, I talk about the importance of cultural intelligence in navigating change. Gen X has been developing this intelligence our entire careers, code switching between technological eras like it's our job. Because honestly, it has been. In Chapter 2 of my book, I discuss how effective leaders build bridges across differences. Gen X leaders naturally excel at three critical bridging functions that are essential for AI transformation. First, translation services. We literally translate between generations. When a boomer executive says, "I don't trust AI with our customer data," we understand the legitimate concern behind the resistance. When a Gen Z analyst says, "We need to automate everything," we see both the opportunity and the organizational readiness gaps. We're the interpreters in the generational Tower of Babel that is the modern workplace. Second, reality testing. We've seen enough technology promises to be healthily skeptical. Remember when video calls were going to eliminate business travel? When paperless offices were imminent? We can separate AI reality from AI fantasy because we've been through this dance before. We ask the questions younger leaders might not think to ask, and older leaders might not know how to ask. Third, cultural bridge building. We understand that successful AI implementation isn't about the technology, it's about the culture. We know how to help organizations maintain their core values while embracing new capabilities. We remember when pivot wasn't a buzzword, but a basketball move, and we understand that not everything needs to be disrupted. Here's what this looks like in practice. When implementing AI tools, Gen X leaders don't just focus on the technical rollout. We create mentorship programs pairing digital natives with domain experts. We design hybrid processes that leverage AI while preserving human judgment. We build change management strategies that acknowledge both excitement and fear. In both high value leadership and mastering a high value company culture, I outline a transformation framework that's particularly relevant for AI integration. It's built on four pillars that Gen X leaders are uniquely positioned to implement. First, trust building. AI transformation requires enormous trust. Trust in technology, trust in leadership, trust in the future. Gen X leaders build this trust by acknowledging what we don't know while demonstrating what we've successfully navigated before. Second, value preservation. Not everything needs to be disrupted. Some organizational values and practices are worth preserving. Gen X leaders can identify what should evolve and what should endure. Third, inclusive innovation. Real transformation includes everyone, not just the early adopters. We create strategies that bring along the skeptics, support the anxious, and channel the enthusiasm of the eager. Fourth, sustainable change. We've been through enough corporate transformations to know that sustainable change takes time. We pace AI implementation for long-term success, not short-term headlines. Here's your exercise for this week. I call it the Generation Bridge Audit. List 3 critical AI or digital initiatives in your organization. For each one, identify one thing boomers bring to the table that's being overlooked. Maybe it's risk awareness, customer relationships, or quality standards. One thing millennials and Gen Z offer that's being underutilized. Perhaps it's intuitive tech adoption, collaborative mindsets, or innovation appetite. Then identify one way a Gen X leader could bridge these perspectives. You'll be amazed at the opportunities hiding in these generational gaps. The solutions aren't in choosing one generation's approach over another. They're in the synthesis that Gen X leaders can facilitate. This isn't about age discrimination or generational stereotypes. It's about recognizing that different experiences create different capabilities. And right now, Gen X's specific experience makes us invaluable for AI transformation. Look, Gen X leaders, I know we're used to being overlooked. We're sandwiched between larger, louder generations. But this is our moment. Organizations need leaders who can navigate both human and artificial intelligence, who can bridge generational divides, who can separate tech hype from tech value. If you're ready to step into this leadership opportunity, download my Shield Resilience Strategy Guide. It includes specific strategies for building the resilience you'll need to lead through transformation. Because let's face it, being the bridge sometimes means getting stepped on from both sides. The link is below. Drop a comment and tell me, what's one advantage Gen X brings to AI transformation that nobody's talking about? Let's start recognizing the value of the forgotten generation. For deeper strategies on leading transformation, check out my book, High Value Leadership, and watch for enrollment in my High Value Leadership Intensive, where we develop frameworks specifically for leaders navigating the human side of technological change. This Thursday, we're continuing this conversation with From Survivor to Thriver, Gen X's Hidden Leadership Superpowers. Because surviving everything from economic recessions to technological revolutions has given us capabilities that organizations desperately need right now. Until then, remember, we're not the forgotten generation. We're the bridge generation. And bridges are essential infrastructure. I'm Che Blackmon, and this has been Unlock, Empower, Transform. Now go show them what Gen X leadership looks like.